I've always been curious about French culture.
What interests you most about it?
Probably the food, the lifestyle, and the way people talk about art.
Those are definitely big parts of it.
It all feels very rich and layered. Is food really that important in French culture?
Yes, food is often treated as something to enjoy, not just something to eat quickly.
So meals are more of an experience?
Exactly, especially lunch and dinner.
I really like that idea. I've heard French people take bread very seriously.
In many cases, yes.
So bread is not just a side item?
No, it can be part of daily routine and quality of life.
That makes sense. Is it true that many people buy fresh bread every day?
In some households, yes.
That sounds so nice.
It's part of the rhythm of daily life for some people.
I love habits like that. I've heard that long meals are common in France.
Yes, meals can be slower and more social.
So people sit, talk, and really enjoy the time?
Exactly.
That feels much more human somehow. Are cafes a big part of French culture?
Very much so.
More than just places to get coffee?
Yes, they can be places to sit, talk, read, or watch the world go by.
That sounds lovely. I love the image of people sitting outside at cafes.
That's a very recognizable part of French city life.
Just talking and relaxing?
Yes, or reading, smoking, or having coffee slowly.
It feels very cinematic. Is conversation important in French culture?
Yes, conversation is often valued a lot.
Like discussing ideas, culture, or current events?
Exactly.
I really admire that. I've heard that French people care a lot about language.
Yes, language is often taken seriously.
In what way?
Precision, expression, and even style in speaking can matter.
That's very interesting. Is politeness important in French culture?
Very important.
More formal than in some places?
Sometimes, especially at first.
Good to know. I heard saying hello properly matters a lot in France.
Yes, greetings are important.
So you shouldn't just jump into a question?
Usually it's better to start with a polite greeting.
That makes sense. Is it rude to enter a shop without greeting the staff?
In many places, yes, it can seem impolite.
So you should say hello first?
Definitely.
That's a useful cultural detail. I like that small manners seem to matter.
Yes, they can say a lot about respect.
Even simple greetings?
Especially simple greetings sometimes.
I appreciate that. Is fashion really important in French culture?
It can be, but not always in the flashy way people imagine.
More like understated style?
Often, yes.
That's actually what I like. I've heard French style is more about looking effortless.
That stereotype exists for a reason.
So not too overdone?
Often more simple, balanced, and natural looking.
I really like that approach. Is art a big part of daily life in France?
In many ways, yes.
Through museums, architecture, books, and cinema?
Exactly.
That's one of the reasons I'm drawn to it. I feel like French culture values beauty in everyday life.
That's a good way to put it.
Not just in art, but in food, clothes, and spaces too.
Yes, often in small details.
I love that. Are museums very popular in France?
Yes, especially in major cities.
I'd love to spend days visiting them.
You easily could.
That sounds perfect to me. I've heard that literature is very respected in French culture.
Yes, literature has a strong place in cultural life.
Even among ordinary people?
Yes, books and ideas are often taken seriously.
That's really attractive to me. Is cinema important too?
Very much so.
French cinema seems to have a strong identity.
It does, and people often take film seriously as an art form.
I respect that. What's one thing people misunderstand about French culture?
Sometimes they reduce it to only romance, fashion, and croissants.
So the cliché is too narrow?
Definitely.
That makes sense. Are family meals important in French homes?
In many families, yes.
So meals are still a time to gather?
Often, yes, especially on weekends or holidays.
I like that a lot. Is lunch considered important in France?
Yes, lunch has traditionally been a real meal, not just something quick.
That's very different from some places.
Exactly.
I think that sounds healthier somehow. Do people usually rush while eating?
Less than in some cultures, I think.
So meals are meant to be enjoyed?
Often yes.
I really admire that. I've heard cheese is a big deal in France.
Yes, definitely.
Is it really common to know different cheeses well?
In many cases, yes.
That's impressive. What role does wine play in French culture?
It can be part of meals, tradition, and regional identity.
So it's not just about drinking?
Exactly, it can also be about taste, history, and place.
That makes sense. Are regional differences important in France?
Very important.
So food and traditions can change a lot by region?
Yes, quite a lot.
I always find that fascinating. I like that one country can contain so many local identities.
France definitely has that.
Different food, accents, landscapes, and customs?
Exactly.
That makes culture feel more alive. Do French people usually feel proud of their region too?
Yes, often very much so.
Not just proud of being French, but also from a certain place?
Exactly.
I like that sense of local identity. I've heard markets are important in daily French life.
Yes, open-air markets are very common in many places.
Fresh produce, cheese, bread, flowers?
All of that.
That sounds like my ideal morning. Are small independent shops still common?
In many neighborhoods, yes.
That gives daily life a different feeling.
It really does.
More personal somehow. I love the idea of buying food from a local bakery and cheese shop.
That's part of the charm for many people.
It feels less rushed and more intentional.
Yes, more connected to place and routine.
Exactly. Is French culture very urban, or also rural?
Both.
So city life and countryside traditions both matter?
Very much.
I like that balance. I've heard village life in France can be very charming.
Yes, small towns and villages are an important part of the cultural image.
Markets, old stone houses, little cafes?
Exactly.
It sounds beautiful. Is architecture a strong part of French identity?
Yes, architecture matters a lot.
From grand buildings to small village streets?
Exactly.
I think that shapes everyday life more than people realize. I've always loved the balconies and old buildings in Paris.
Paris has a very recognizable style.
It feels elegant without trying too hard.
That's part of its charm.
Definitely. Do French people really take holidays seriously?
Yes, time off and vacation culture are important.
So rest is seen as necessary, not lazy?
Exactly.
I respect that deeply. I've heard August feels different in France.
In many places, yes.
Because people go on vacation?
Exactly, especially in cities.
That's such an interesting rhythm. Is work-life balance more valued in France?
In many ways, yes.
Not that people don't work hard, but life outside work matters too.
Exactly.
That feels healthy. I like that meals and leisure seem to matter in French culture.
Yes, pleasure is not always treated as something trivial.
That's such a different mindset.
It can be.
I think that's one reason people admire it. Is French humor different from American humor?
It can be.
In what way?
Sometimes it can be drier, more ironic, or more verbal.
That's interesting. Are people usually formal at first,
Often yes, especially compared to very casual cultures.
but warmer later?
Exactly.
That's good to know. I've heard friendship in France may take time, but then be deep.
That can be true.
So people may seem reserved at first?
Sometimes.
That doesn't mean they're unfriendly though. Is criticism more accepted in conversation?
Sometimes French conversation can be more direct or analytical.
So debate is not always seen as negative?
Exactly.
That's good to understand. I like cultures where people enjoy discussing ideas.
Then you'd probably appreciate that side of French culture.
It sounds stimulating.
It can be, especially in social or intellectual settings.
I love that. Are philosophy and ideas really part of everyday culture there?
Maybe not for everyone every day, but intellectual life has a respected place.
So ideas are not seen as something distant from normal life?
Exactly.
That's really attractive to me. I've heard French schools emphasize writing and analysis strongly.
Yes, intellectual rigor is often valued.
That probably shapes communication too.
It often does.
Interesting. Do French people usually talk a lot about food?
Yes, food can be a serious topic.
Not just whether it tastes good, but where it comes from and how it's made.
Exactly.
I really like that. Is Sunday lunch a big thing in some French families?
Yes, it can be.
A long family meal?
Often, yes.
That sounds so warm. I've heard that French meals often have several courses.
In some homes and on special occasions, yes.
Not always super fancy, but structured?
Exactly.
I like that sense of rhythm. Is breakfast less important than in some other cultures?
Traditionally, it can be lighter than lunch or dinner.
So not always a huge meal?
Often not.
That's interesting. I've noticed French pastries are famous everywhere.
Yes, pastry is one of the best-known parts of the culture.
Croissants, pain au chocolate, tarts.
Exactly.
I'm not complaining. Is there a difference between daily food and fancy restaurant food in France?
Of course, but daily food still often matters a lot.
So ordinary meals can still be taken seriously?
Yes, very much.
I love that. Do people usually eat dinner late?
Later than in some countries, yes.
That changes the whole evening rhythm.
It does.
I find that interesting. I've heard French children are taught table manners early.
Yes, manners at the table can matter a lot.
So meals are also part of social education?
Exactly.
That makes sense. I like that good food seems tied to daily dignity in French culture.
That's a thoughtful way to put it.
Even ordinary meals are worth doing well.
Yes, often that's the idea.
I really admire that. Is perfume culturally important in France?
It has a strong place in French luxury and identity, yes.
More as an art than just a product?
In many ways, yes.
That's fascinating. I've heard French pharmacies are different from some others.
Yes, they often have a certain cultural presence too.
Almost like part of neighborhood life?
Exactly.
That's interesting. Are bookstores important in French culture?
Very much so.
I love that.
Bookstores, old books, and reading culture all matter a lot.
That makes me happy. I feel like French culture values taste in a broad sense.
Yes, taste in food, art, clothing, design, even conversation.
That's exactly what I mean.
It's a very recognizable part of the culture.
I'm drawn to that. Is romance really central to French culture, or is that exaggerated?
It's a little exaggerated, but there is a cultural appreciation for charm and seduction.
So the stereotype comes from somewhere real?
Yes, but it's still a stereotype.
Fair enough. Do French people really spend a lot of time walking?
In many cities, yes.
That probably shapes daily life too.
Definitely, especially in places where neighborhoods are walkable.
I like that. I think walkable streets are part of why French city life looks so appealing.
That's probably true.
Sidewalk cafes, shops, public squares.
Exactly.
It feels more alive. Are public squares and plazas important socially?
Yes, they can be part of everyday urban life.
More like spaces to exist, not just pass through?
Exactly.
That changes everything. I've heard French culture can feel both elegant and very ordinary at the same time.
That's a good observation.
Like beauty is part of daily life, not only special occasions.
Yes, often in small ways.
That's one of the things I love about it. Is there a strong cafe reading culture?
Yes, in some places and among some people, definitely.
Sitting with a coffee and a book sounds perfect.
It does, doesn't it?
Very much. Are newspapers and public discussion still important?
They have historically been important, yes.
So talking about current issues has social value?
Often yes.
I respect that. I've heard that cheese is served at a specific point in the meal.
Yes, in more traditional meal structure, it can come before dessert.
That's such a detail.
French food culture is full of those details.
I love that. Is hosting at home important in French culture?
Yes, meals at home can be meaningful and carefully planned.
So hospitality matters there too?
Definitely.
I like that. I'm interested in how French people decorate their homes.
There's often appreciation for style, but it doesn't always mean expensive.
More about taste than spending?
Often yes.
That's a great distinction. Are flowers important in everyday French life?
They can be, yes.
I often picture flowers in balconies, markets, and homes.
That image exists for a reason.
It's lovely. Does French culture place value on presentation?
Yes, presentation often matters.
In food, clothing, and hosting?
Exactly.
That makes sense. I think one reason people love French culture is the attention to detail.
I think so too.
Small details seem to matter there.
Yes, and they shape the whole atmosphere.
Exactly. Is Old World tradition still strong in France?
In some ways, yes.
Even in modern life?
Yes, traditions often continue alongside modern habits.
I like that balance. I like cultures that preserve ritual in daily life.
Then French culture probably speaks to you.
It really does.
Meals, greetings, shops, and holidays all carry little rituals.
That's exactly it. Are holidays celebrated with big family meals?
Often yes, especially for certain holidays.
So food and family come together strongly then?
Definitely.
That feels very meaningful. I've heard French Christmas meals can be very special.
Yes, holiday meals can be elaborate and symbolic.
That sounds wonderful.
They often involve tradition, timing, and specific foods.
I'd love to experience that. Is Sunday treated differently from the rest of the week?
Traditionally, yes, though it varies now.
More family time and slower meals?
Often, yes.
I like that rhythm. I noticed French culture seems to appreciate slowing down.
In some ways, yes.
Not always rushing everything.
Exactly.
I think people everywhere need more of that. Is there a strong connection between food and region in France?
Very strong.
So dishes really belong to places?
Yes, often deeply.
That makes food feel even more meaningful. I've heard French people are very proud of regional specialties.
Yes, definitely.
Cheese, wine, pastries, dishes, all tied to place?
Exactly.
I love that. Does the countryside still matter a lot in French identity?
I think so, yes.
Even for people who live in cities?
Often yes, through food, family roots, or memory.
That's beautiful. I'm fascinated by French bakeries.
You're not alone.
They feel almost cultural, not just commercial.
That's true in many neighborhoods.
I love that. I've heard there's a strong culture around choosing quality over quantity.
That idea does exist in many parts of French life.
Better fewer good things than many careless ones?
Exactly.
I really like that mindset. Is aging treated differently in French culture?
There can be a bit more appreciation for maturity and elegance in some ways.
That sounds healthier than extreme youth obsession.
It can feel that way, yes.
I like that perspective. I feel like French culture values confidence without loudness.
That's an interesting observation.
More quiet self-possession than showing off.
Often, yes.
I admire that. Do French people usually dress up more for daily life?
Sometimes a little more intentionally, depending on the place and person.
Not necessarily fancy, just put together?
Exactly.
That makes sense. I've heard that lunch can still be a proper pause in the day.
In some places and professions, yes.
That feels civilized.
A lot of people would agree with you.
I can see why. Is there a lot of pride in culinary tradition?
Absolutely.
Even in simple dishes?
Yes, maybe especially in simple dishes.
That says a lot. I love the idea that everyday life can still have elegance.
That's something many people associate with French culture.
Not luxury, just attention and care.
Exactly.
That's what attracts me. Is French culture very secular now?
In many ways, yes, though history and religion still shaped a lot of traditions and holidays.
So even secular life still carries historical influence?
Exactly.
That makes sense. I've heard that public life and private life may feel more separate.
That can be true.
So people may be polite in public but more reserved personally?
Yes, depending on the person and context.
That's helpful to know. Do French people usually invite friends over for long dinners?
Yes, that can be an important social activity.
That sounds much nicer than always meeting in loud places.
It can be very warm and intimate.
I like that. I'm curious about French parenting culture.
That's a big topic, but meals, manners, and routine are often discussed a lot.
So food and behavior are part of cultural identity too?
Definitely.
Interesting. I've heard people in France can be more protective of personal boundaries at first.
That can happen.
So warmth may come later, not immediately?
Exactly.
That's important to understand. I love how French bookstores and cafes seem connected in my mind.
They do feel culturally linked somehow.
Books, ideas, coffee, conversation.
Exactly.
That's one of my favorite images. I think food in French culture is tied to memory too.
Very much so.
Family dishes, childhood tastes, holiday meals.
Exactly.
That makes it emotional, not just culinary. Is there a tradition of bringing something when invited to someone's home?
Yes, bringing flowers, wine, or dessert can be common.
That's a nice custom.
It shows consideration.
I like that. Are dinner parties usually formal?
Not always formal, but often thoughtful.
So people care about the meal and atmosphere?
Definitely.
That sounds lovely. I feel like French culture treats pleasure as something legitimate.
That's a really good way to describe it.
Good food, beauty, conversation, rest.
Yes, pleasure can be treated as part of a full life.
I love that. Does French culture value moderation?
In many ways, yes.
Enjoying things without excess?
Often that's the ideal.
That seems wise. I like how style seems connected to restraint.
Yes, understatement is often admired.
Not trying too hard can be its own art.
Exactly.
I think that's elegant. Is there a strong terrace culture in French cities?
Yes, sitting outside is a big part of social life in many places.
I'd love that.
It changes how people use the city.
Definitely. I think one reason French culture appeals to people is the idea of savoring life.
I agree.
Savoring food, time, beauty, conversation.
Exactly.
That's powerful. Are old traditions around table settings still common?
In some homes and on special occasions, yes.
I like that.
Meals can be treated with ceremony, even if small.
That makes them feel important. I've noticed French culture is often associated with confidence and taste.
Yes, maybe because taste is treated like something worth developing.
Not just buying expensive things, but learning what you like.
Exactly.
I admire that. Is there a strong appreciation for old things in France?
Often yes, especially old buildings, furniture, objects, and traditions.
So age can add value?
Definitely.
I like that a lot. I feel like French culture is very sensory.
That's true.
Taste, smell, texture, atmosphere, design.
Exactly.
It feels very alive. I've heard people talk about French elegance, but I think it's more than clothes.
I agree.
It's also behavior, tone, and rhythm.
Yes, a whole approach to life.
Exactly. Are local festivals still important in France?
In many regions, yes.
With food, music, markets, and tradition?
Exactly.
That sounds fun. I like that food can still be seasonal and local in French culture.
Yes, that often matters a lot.
So people notice when things are in season?
Often yes.
I wish that were stronger everywhere. Is there a strong respect for craft in France?
Yes, traditional crafts and artisanal work often have status.
Bakers, cheesemakers, pastry chefs, artisans?
Exactly.
I love that. I think French culture makes everyday life feel more intentional.
That's a beautiful way to say it.
Even little rituals seem to matter.
Yes, often they do.
That's what I'm drawn to. I've heard French people may be skeptical of access friendliness from strangers.
Sometimes, yes.
So more reserved doesn't mean rude?
Exactly.
That's an important distinction. Do French people usually separate work friends from close friends more?
Sometimes social circles can feel more defined, yes.
That's interesting.
Friendship may build more slowly but with intention.
I understand that. I like cultures that care about public space.
Then French cities may appeal to you.
Sidewalks, parks, squares, cafes, markets.
Exactly.
Those things shape quality of life so much. I'm curious how French culture balances tradition and modernity.
That tension is part of what makes it interesting.
Holding on to older forms while living in the present?
Exactly.
I find that beautiful. Are there strong traditions around Sunday bakeries and pastries?
In some households, yes, weekend bakery visits can be special.
That sounds like such a nice routine.
It really does.
I'd love that. I admire how much value seems to be placed on quality of life.
That's definitely something many people associate with France.
Not just success, but how you live day to day.
Exactly.
That matters so much. I've heard French culture can seem contradictory sometimes.
Yes, elegant but practical, formal but passionate, intellectual but sensual.
That's actually what makes it appealing.
I agree.
Complexity is interesting. Is there a strong holiday tradition around family meals in the countryside?
Yes, for many families that's very meaningful.
Escaping the city and gathering around food?
Exactly.
That sounds wonderful. I like that French culture doesn't always separate culture from ordinary life.
That's true.
Art, food, books, conversation all seem woven into daily routine.
Exactly.
That's what makes it so attractive. I've heard that meals in France can last a long time.
Yes, especially if people are enjoying each other's company.
I think that's such a healthy sign.
It can be.
We need more of that. I'm fascinated by the relationship between French culture and taste.
Taste there can mean much more than fashion.
More like judgment, elegance, and discernment?
Exactly.
That's what I mean. Do people usually take dessert seriously too?
Of course.
That answer felt very French.
As it should.
I respect it. I've heard French people can be very attached to local bakeries.
Yes, neighborhood bakeries can be deeply part of daily life.
That's such a charming idea.
It really is.
I love neighborhood habits like that. I feel like French culture is often about enjoying small things properly.
That's a great way to describe it.
A coffee, a walk, a good meal, a beautiful street.
Exactly.
That's what I admire most. Is there a difference between Parisian culture and wider French culture?
Definitely.
So Paris doesn't represent all of France?
Not at all.
That's important to remember. I've heard southern France has a different rhythm from Paris.
Yes, regional rhythms and lifestyles can differ a lot.
That must affect food and social life too.
Very much.
I find that fascinating. I love cultures where even ordinary shopping feels cultural.
French markets and bakeries definitely create that feeling.
Daily errands become part of the experience.
Exactly.
I really like that. I think one reason people romanticize France is because everyday life there seems aesthetic.
That's probably true.
But I know real life is always more complicated.
Of course.
Still, the appeal is understandable. I appreciate how much value seems to be placed on not rushing.
Yes, that's part of the attraction for many people.
Doing things with time and attention.
Exactly.
That feels very human. Is table conversation considered important?
Yes, meals are often as much about talking as eating.
I love that.
The table can be a place for connection and ideas.
Exactly. I think French culture appeals to people who want life to feel a little more thoughtful.
That's a beautiful observation.
More attention, more taste, more presence.
Yes, I think that's part of it.
That's what I'm drawn to. I've heard French people often prefer quality basics over lots of trendy things.
That idea is definitely part of the cultural image.
It makes sense to me.
Me too.
Better a few good things than many random ones. I like that French culture seems to honor both intellect and pleasure.
Yes, that combination is part of its identity.
Thinking deeply and enjoying life well.
Exactly.
That's very appealing. I've heard some people find French culture intimidating.
Sometimes, yes.
Maybe because it seems refined or opinionated.
That can be part of it.
But refinement doesn't have to mean coldness. I think what I love most is the way daily life itself seems respected.
That's a powerful thing to notice.
Not just big achievements, but how you eat, speak, dress, and rest.
Exactly.
That feels very wise. I'd love to spend time in France just observing daily life.
Honestly, that's one of the best ways to understand a culture.
Markets, cafes, trains, bakeries, family meals.
Exactly.
That's what interests me most. Do you think French culture is really about perfection?
Not necessarily perfection. Maybe more about attention and intention.
That's a much better way to put it.
I think so too.
I like that distinction. I admire how even simple food can be treated with care.
That says a lot about values.
Quality and attention instead of rushing.
Exactly.
That's what makes it special. I've heard French culture can seem reserved until you understand the codes.
Yes, and once you learn the social rules, things often make more sense.
Greetings, politeness, formality.
Exactly.
That's useful. I think French culture teaches people to appreciate what's in front of them.
That's a lovely way to see it.
A meal, a conversation, a place, a season.
Yes, presence matters.
I really admire that. I'm drawn to the mix of beauty and practicality.
That balance is part of what makes French culture so interesting.
Not overly dramatic, just thoughtful.
Exactly.
I love that. I think one of the most appealing things is how culture seems to live in habits.
Yes, daily rituals can say a lot.
Greetings, markets, meals, cafes, table manners.
Exactly.
That's what makes it feel real. I'd love to learn more through food and literature.
That's probably one of the best ways.
It feels more personal than just memorizing facts.
Definitely.
That's how I like to learn culture too. French culture feels like a reminder that life should not only be efficient.
That's such a strong observation.
Beauty, rest, conversation, and pleasure matter too.
Exactly.
I think that's why so many people are drawn to it. I know stereotypes never tell the whole story, but some cultural values still stand out.
Yes, as long as you stay thoughtful about them.
Like food, conversation, style, and daily rituals.
Exactly.
Those themes feel real. What's one respectful way to learn more about French culture?
Start with everyday life, not just cliches. Look at food, conversation, manners, books, regional differences, and how people actually live.
That's good advice.
And remember that France is not one single experience.
I'll remember that. So what's the best first step if I want to understand French culture better?
Start by paying attention to daily rituals like greetings, meals, cafés, markets, and conversation, because culture often lives there most clearly.
That makes sense.
Then explore the regional differences, literature, food, and history without reducing everything to stereotypes.
That sounds like the right place to begin.